Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Welcome to Cipher. It's your lady, hashtag Spark20. And we are live here with these beautiful ladies on Reality Speaks TV. And today's topic, we're talking about healthy boundaries. And just a moment, we're going to ask all the ladies to introduce themselves. And I just want to give everybody an introduction to what we're going to be talking about today. So the title is Navigating Healthy Boundaries and Overcoming Self-Sabotage. SisStar Ciphers is your go-to podcast for insightful discussions on navigating life challenges with grace and resilience. Join us as we delve into the crucial topics of setting healthy boundaries and overcoming self-sabotage. From personal experiences to personal insights, we explore practical strategies for fostering self care, maintaining strong boundaries, and breaking free from harmful patterns. Tune in as we empower ourselves and deepen understanding of self growth and empowerment with the SisStar Cipher Vodcast. Welcome, ladies.
Mhm. Hello.
All right, so we're going to start with appearance. Goddess Masterpiece, can you tell us a little bit about yourself today, who you are, and what does having boundaries mean to you?
Okay, I go by the name Goddess Masterpiece, but my name is Aaliyah Fardan. Um my father and Sparkle are in a relationship, so that's how I know her. Um so I am originally born in Brooklyn, New York. I was raised in Queens. And I I have a mother of three children. I'm 40 plus, and right now I work in the medical industry, but my passion was to be a content creator. So I do have a YouTube channel, although I am trying to repurpose it than what originally started doing, which was kind of like a Seinfeld type feel. It's like a show. It was a channel about nothing but everything at all. Like everything but nothing at all. So on YouTube, you kind of have to have a purpose and a direction. So I had to, kind of revamp myself a little bit. um, I really wanted to grow as a content creator and make money from it, but it is a challenge. It's not as easy. So I end up going back to the work field. So I do have a 9 to 5, but I am trying to balance the content with different things. I like yoga. I do tarot readings. I've been studying tarot for quite some time, so I'm getting into that. And so, oh, you like tarot too? Yes. So tarot is the thing right now. So I'm just collecting cards and really studying. I have a small tarot channel besides my main channel, but it's not really, I'm not as active as I could be, but I'm trying to get there. I would like to go in a more positive direction on YouTube than what I originally started. It was a mess, When you're doing entertainment topics, you're gonna get trolls. So I feel like I'm beyond that now, and I want to do something more positive. So I'm just revamping that, and that's pretty much it. That's where I'm at with everything. I work a 9 to 5. Hopefully one day the content will turn into something good, but for now I'm just trying to juggle both. So.
Very good. And then
Mhm.
I believe Sarah Heather was here again. So we're doing brief introductions, who
Mhm.
we are, and whatever we would like people to know. Sarah?
Sure, I'll go. Thanks, Sparkle. I'm Sarah. I'm a solo parent. My kids are in elementary school. I'm amazing. I want to live an amazing life. I want to be able to just like glow and help others like level up. So I'm very excited to support Sparkle in this project and all of her projects. She's a great inspiration. And what I think about setting healthy boundaries. It's the power of your no. You got to be able to dish that out as many times as possible, because when you set boundaries, boundaries are a way of expressing love. We set boundaries with toddlers. They don't hit our faces. We say no, we put them away, for example. So boundaries are love, first of all. But when we say no to people who want to cross our boundaries, and we say no to ourselves for crossing those boundaries, it's a sign of love. And we always want to be in a place of love instead of a place of fear. So I'm super excited about tonight's topic. Thank you, Sparkle.
Very good. You're welcome. Heather?
Hi, I'm Heather Wasilewski. I'm I guess a jack of all trades in the community. I love my city of Utica. I love helping where I can. I run a neighborhood association, and I recently started a platform to engage community more into local politics, like civic engagement, something that's really lacking in our community. So it's a nonpartisan site, and I work on that. I got a year to kind of put it all together. So I'm excited about that. I'm really new to boundaries, just so you're aware. Like, I've started creating boundaries that have changed my life, my relationship, and, even with my son, being able to be more there for him, but also there for my needs as well. So I'm really excited about this topic. I think a lot of us can really get something from each other on this. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Thank you, Heather. Shai?
I'm Shai Chanel. I'm the realist. I have no filter. I feel like honestly, with boundaries, because I have no filter, I think people are more prone not to cross them, right? So I set what my boundaries are. People, pretty much know what it is and how to either take it or leave it. And I'm just, I'm just at that. I don't want to say that I don't have no boundaries. It's just that I set them shits from standpoint. It's black and white, right? And I feel like a lot of people, they're scared of the reaction that people will have for them telling them what their boundaries are. And I don't care what people reactions are. If you don't like it, then guess what?
Right.
So that's what I stand on. What I do everything. I'm not so much a tarot card reader, although my mom is one of the world famous spiritualists. Yeah, my mom is Ifal Bayo. She's from Queens. I'm from Queens too. Um,
Okay.
so I do understand where the spiritual, standpoint is, and how it helps one's, especially with boundaries. Because listen, y'all spiritual people, when y'all start telling people y'all spiritual, that's a whole boundary within itself. What I have learned through education and through teaching is that if you're weak or you're scared to announce your boundaries, set up your imaginary bubble, right? And that's your shield, and you shouldn't let anything penetrate your shield, right? That goes back to what we were saying about having an alter ego. Your alter ego can definitely, shine brighter than your shield sometimes too. And let that have a stand up on your boundaries. Hell no, we can't be fucked with. Part of my friendship. Y'all know how I am. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Shai. And last but certainly not least, Sister Tioka Muhammad. Welcome.
Welcome. Peace, family. Thank you for having me on. This is dope. So, a little bit about myself. My name is Sister Tioka Muhammad. Originally from downstate, from Brooklyn, but I've been up here for a while. I'm married to Courtney Muhammad for the past 20 years. We both are owners and operators of the Carol L. Croon's Becca Center, which is Business Education and Culture Activity Center. A little bit about myself. Most people from the age of 14. No, let me go back down. 4 years old, all the way up to 70, know me as Zumba Sister or Miss Zumba. I've been teaching Zumba in pre-K and around the city of Utica for many, many years. I'm also a personal trainer. I'm also a dance choreographer. I'm also a cook. party planner, you name it. Like I think I think it was you, Heather, that was like jack of all trades, right? Like you do a little bit of everything. Um, I am in service of the people, so that's what I like to do. I like to serve people. As far as boundaries, I have grown beyond the understanding of boundaries as far as shielding myself. I don't have anyone that crossed my boundaries. And it's funny that Shai was like, usually them spiritual folks, like just saying that the spiritual is like automatically a boundary. You just taught me something because I guess that's what it is, because I'm a bridge builder. So it's hard to build a bridge if you have a wall up. So I'm like, I fear no one. Like, it's freedom, justice, and equality for me. So, but however, I do understand that, like, for children and through growth, as we grow, there are some limitations that need to be there. I consider them standards, and we need to follow these standards, codes. My moral standards is, I'm not gonna impose on you. You're not gonna impose on me. We're just gonna spread love, right? Sparkle the Brooklyn way, spread love.
It's the
So
Brooklyn
that's
way.
me.
And thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you all for being here. So, as I already shared before, I don't have any biological sisters. So, I created this platform. People I consider to be SisStars, people that are my, if I was to choose one, y'all will all be my sisters, right? Like, I don't have any, but so this topic is really important to me because of my nature. I'm a people pleaser by nature. My mother told me I was too giving. A lot of people told me, they take me to the side and they speak to me real seriously, look me in the eyes, Sparkle, you know what your problem is? What? Tell me. You care too much. Even my children, my oldest son, you care too much. And I'm like, but I can't help it. What is it if it's in your nature to care a lot? So the first question that I have for you, all of you ladies, because I'm here to learn, how do you remind yourself to how do you remind yourself to prioritize self-care and avoid self-sabotage? Now, this is for anyone who's feeling like you want to go ahead and tackle that question first, but I really need to know, and I'm pretty sure the listeners want to know too. How do you remind yourself to prioritize self-care and avoid self-sabotage?
Okay, I want to.
Yes,
I want to
please.
go only because I didn't answer the question with my introduction. I didn't answer the question about boundaries, so I just want to say about boundaries. Some things that I've learned along the way over life's experiences. I feel like I'm a humanitarian. I feel like I am an empath, as they would say. Um, but it doesn't always get perceived by other people as that because I have a harsh voice. A lot of people talk about my New York accent. I can't help that. I come off a little abrasive, but I really have a good heart. So that's one thing that I go through a lot with people initially meeting people. They don't know how to respond to me. So I gave myself the name God is Masterpiece because it's an affirmation in itself. No, I'm not perfect. I don't have the perfect shape. I by far have so many imperfections, but certain things you have to affirm yourself with, even if it's a name, an identity, whatever it is. The tarot is inspiring. Yoga can be helpful. But in regards to boundaries, I feel that sometimes you have to walk away from certain situations in order to protect your mental health. I'm big on good mental health, and therapy is great, but it's not the end all to be all. You need more work than that sometimes. Sometimes you need to do internal work, and it may be just doing things that's positive. So I learned that even in my lowest moments, I try to focus on something positive, doing something positive. The tarot, even though people have said that's evil, it's voodoo, it's the devil. All right, I accepted all of that. But it helps me. It inspires me. Um, and that's really where I'm at with boundaries. I just wanna inspire. So if you having those low moments, is ways to get over it by inspiring yourself. Doing self care to me is, yeah, you need to look a certain way as a woman, feel good, do any little things. It doesn't take a lot of money to look good. just taking care of yourself. Just having clean hair. Natural hair is fine. I'm about all different flavors. Wear what makes you comfortable. Wigs, weaves, your natural hair, bowl, whatever it is. Do what makes you feel good, but make sure you're comfortable in your own skin. And that's really how I want to introduce that. But then to get I'm sorry. To get to your to the second part of it, I just can you repeat the question?
How do you remind yourself to
How do
prior?
you
How do
and
you
I think
remind
I answered
yourself?
that.
Yes,
So
you
yeah,
did.
for self-care, I'm sorry. So
No,
yeah,
you're fine.
just doing things that inspire you. Even some of the wildest dreams that you've ever had, even if it seems far-fetched. I believe we're in a time of you can be a celebrity in your own right. If that's what you choose to be. If you're consistent, especially on social media, YouTube, TikTok, even though they're trying to ban TikTok, you can be successful right now in your own right. But really, it's consistency. A lot of times, it's not even about being the most talented, it's consistency. You don't have to have the most grand setup. I notice it's about people's consistency. So,
Can I say something to that? I know
mm-hmm.
what it is. I pinpointed. You got that 40 projectism. That's what
I'm
that
not,
is. No, you got
and
that.
I'm
You got
not.
that South Side. Because I'm from 40 projects. I was born and raised. It's just that
Okay.
we adapt out of nothing and turn
Mm-hmm.
it into anything. And I've traveled
Right.
a lot of places, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not too many people. When you come from a setting of just South Side, period, South Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
Queens, it's its
Mm-hmm.
own grand ordeal. Y'all got to remember, it's so many legends that came out of that one area, and they
That's
had
true.
nothing. We talking
Mm-hmm.
about Nikki, we talking about 50. These people had nothing. Lost Boys,
Mm-hmm.
all of them. And they turned
Mm-hmm.
that nothing into a grand scheme of things, and they made it sound so interesting. Like you can really take nothing and do why you not doing something with your nothing to turn it into something?
Mm-hmm. No,
And
it's
I
true, but that's a New York thing. This is a place where people fake it till you make it. Unfortunately, that's just what it is.
mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have out here, especially in these times that we in. I know I never lived in the projects. This is what I said about my voice. I just have a New York accent. So I can't really help it. I'm sorry. I couldn't be a good actress because I can't really change my accent. But yeah, that's just me. So just coming from the concrete jungle in itself. This is a place of no class. No class like there's no class system. I'm in a good neighborhood on one end, but a few blocks up it's not. It's a bunch of vagabonds. It's a bunch of beggars. So you start to just blend in with your environment. So that's my standpoint. I'm the concrete rose. I came from a concrete jungle, but I came from a good home in a sense of we were never starving. We never were homeless. We never, my mom kept me good. But as far as me as an adult, that's a different story now because this is one of the most expensive places to live. So I'm just about inspiring people because I've had a lot of life's experiences, you know, I feel like I can touch bases on different topics. So I didn't know about this topic beforehand. This was like a last minute thing. But any topic you throw at me, I have something to say. So that's just me. I'm a talker. I'm a talker. I'm a Taurus. I don't know if a lot of Tauruses talk, but I talk. So I'm willing to listen to what everybody has a different opinion. I'm not. It's not about an argument. We can agree to disagree. Um, One
But
thing I don't
guess
want to
what?
talk about is politics. I'll let y'all have that. I'm gonna sit that one out. But just to inspire yourself by doing things that make you feel good.
You
The
know what? We
smallest
love
things.
that. We love that you're a talker because all of us are
Hmm.
talking, and that's exactly why I invited. I don't want anyone over
Hmm.
here to be quiet. But
Hmm.
ladies, feel free to come right on in because I got more questions and um,
Hmm.
I want to ask people too, have you ever caught yourself sabotaging your own success or happiness? And would you?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hear
You know,
about it.
I think that a lot of people don't feel the need to be real with that question right there. Have you self-sabotaging your own pockets? It's a lot of people that self-sabotage just because they be like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That pisses me off so much. Nah, I can't do that. Nah, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to feel. I told my homegirl, I said, Joe, you know, we in the age of right now where cash used to be king, but now it's content. Content is king. And that's how you get cash. So if you get your EBT, my baby, and you sit your phone up on camera and you eating your crab legs on YouTube, that is content. And you can take that same 10-minute eat that you doing and flip it 30 goddamn ways. And by the end of the month, you should be generating some cash. And she told me, no, I just don't want to do it. But in the same mouth, it'd be the people that you give the advice to or the ideas to, hey, pieces that be like, yo, I need money, but I don't want to live this way, but I don't want to do this. It's been plenty of times to where now I'm at the point in my life to where I am pushing. No matter if I feel like I don't want to do it, I'm out. You see me now. I'm more out. I'm more active. I'm more prone into getting what they call a bag, because the bag is free now. Now it's free. They making it easier every day for you to get a bag. So if you self-sabotaging yourself in this day and ever, then you kind of, you know, a little slow, in my opinion.
I think like a way that I've definitely used to self-sabotage myself was through past experience and trauma. So thinking that from growing up in a way of not coming from love and things like that, that's just how it is, and getting into relationships and self-sabotaging them due to my past. And one day finally accepting that trauma and moving forward was a good thing. But I would destroy relationships, friendships, just because I was just so used to not really having people love or care about me as a child.
And how much money you lost from that?
What's that?
I said, how much money did you lose from that?
No,
right? Imagine how many.
I lost a lot because of the fact that I didn't have confidence, you know, to go forward and do the things that I can do now and use my voice now and say things now. But growing up like that, you are hurting yourself in love and progress and everything. So it was definitely a way that I lost self-sabotage that I wish I knew about myself now and understood myself and loved myself like I do now then, because it would have been different.
I feel that way too. I feel like I should go back a few years and be like, bitch, what was wrong with you? Come here, give me a hug. I love you. You know, you could have did this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I feel like that. I felt like, you know, sometimes I just want to reach back there and just be like, you know what? Come here, give me a hug, baby. We got this.
That's true.
You are her.
Sister
I like
T,
to chime in. Yeah, I like to chime in. Sister T, your I think because your phone, your thing is, you got some background noise going on.
I should, unless it's just my fish tank.
Oh, okay. Somebody got some background noise. It was hard to hear. It's choppy.
I don't hear it. Oh.
So, Heather, yeah, you know what you're saying. You know, unfortunately, and in my community, it takes us a long time to get there, right? Because we tend to make excuses for our trauma, and it become a part of our personality. So self-sabotaging for me looks as simple as, you know, just not believing in myself enough, you know, because at some point, whether I recognize it or not, at some point somebody deposited in me that I can't. Right. And that's something that we grow up with, is embedded. So when it comes down to moving forward on things, we become stifled, we become handicapped, you know, to the point where it's fear. So for me, self-sabotage represents fear. I'm not really sure how you posed that question, but I think you was asking, when have we thought of a time? Like, when was their time, or how do we deal with that? What was the question?
Yeah, so the very first question that I asked was, well, the latest question was, it was, how do you remind yourself to prioritize self-care and avoid self-sabotage? And was there ever a time that, have you ever caught yourself sabotaging your own success or happiness?
So when you don't know your worth and someone else sees something in you, you don't believe them. You don't believe them. And so that's self-sabotaging. Because I can say I've done it. And sometimes I've even hid behind, because I just want to help. I just want to. But the reality is that somewhere I don't believe in myself. I don't believe in the value of what I have to offer someone else. That is self-sabotaging. What do I do for self-care? Self-care to me is I like having fun. And I mentioned I'm a dancer, right? I love to dance. Like, it's like therapy for me. I love music. I love all kind of music, and I can dance to any type of music. I can teach all the way to the waltz. Okay, like that's how much, and it's very therapeutic for me. I love instruments. I love instrumental music, and I love just sitting in that space and thinking about how these sounds are being put together. What was in the mind of those creators? I grew up listening to rap music. Rap music nowadays is a little different than back in my day. We talked about some stuff. Now, some of the stuff we talk about, I don't really want to hear about. The struggle is real, but some of this, we ain't even talking about struggle no more. But one of the ways that I deal with self-care is music is therapy for me. And of course, on a spiritual note, I pray. I pray. And prayer for me is meditation. It's meditation. You could do it the way you want to do it. But for me, when I hit those rockers and I'm just in that thought pattern, thinking the creator that, wow, I did it. I had another minute of not self-sabotaging. You know what I mean? I started feeling better about myself. Matter of fact, I did that. That was fun because I created something to meditate on that. That's self-care for me.
Wow. Thank you. Sarah, you've been quiet over there, lady.
Well, all this great conversation and all these different topics. So, which question do you want me to take a stab at?
Okay. Well, actually, can you share a time when setting a boundary positively impacted your life?
Oh, yeah. Boundaries with my kids. I love setting boundaries with my kids and telling them, like, one of the ways I do that is, I love you and you need to get out of my room. Like, I love you and go away. Like, I tell them first, so that way they are not always hearing like mom is like rejecting me. It's like, no, I love you and this space is not for you. Like, even if they come sometimes to give me a hug, if I don't want a hug right then, I will tell them, like, I love you, but I'm not available for a hug right now. I will let you know when I am. Or like, I know that you want a hug. I'm not available. I'm working on something else, or I'm just not in the right headspace. And then I will come give you, like, if I'm in a conversation or I'm just like at the grocery store for something, so setting boundaries with my kids is a way that I love to do that. And I always preface it with, I love you. So that way it's coming from a place of love instead of them hopefully softening the blow because they're not getting their first choice. Right. But also giving them the experience of, I don't always get what I want right now. You could get it later, but it's just not right now.
Okay, thank you. And I want to say that for me, I have this next question for all of you, and please answer honestly. Because for me, I think I self-sabotage myself because I don't have any boundaries or I don't implement them really well, right? Because once you set the boundary, you have to implement the boundary. You have to keep that boundary. You have to enforce that boundary. So me enforcing anything, first of all, by the time I wake up, I probably done forgot about the boundary I done set. So, so for my personality, like, my friend, my sister-in-law, she laughs at me. She's like, you know what? I'm going to call you the CEO of the Benefit of the Doubt Committee because, You get a benefit of the doubt, and you get a benefit. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but that has caused me to self-sabotage in some way or another. So I want to know from all of you, how do you know when someone has crossed a boundary? What are some of the signs?
I think you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel like an encroachment on you, right? You'll feel, because when you set a good boundary, that like a commitment to yourself, your intuition will know that this is what you really, really want, and it will feel like that is a law of the land, right? And so if you cross it, there will be a little voice that you hear that says like, is this truly what you want? Or like, like just like you're tripping a wire type of thing, and there's a little voice going off. But you should be able to feel it in your body of like, this doesn't feel good. I'm not supposed to be here. They're encroaching. And that can be anything from how much time somebody's taking up, right? If you've kind of said like, I'll have a conversation with you for 10 minutes. If somebody is taking 20, 30 minutes, an hour of your time and not letting you leave, like that is an encroachment on a boundary that you've set for yourself. And it will just, your interest in wanting to be there will dramatically like drop off and stuff, and to the point where it's like you may want to say no, like I have to, and stop. And that's where your people pleasing, little voice of you is going to be like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad that I'm stopping this conversation. But not everybody can like us, and that's okay, right? We can, when we are setting boundaries for ourselves, it's putting all of our preferences first, which, as in a society where we're growing up as women, like we're never first. Our society doesn't function the way it currently does if women put themselves first. I've been thinking about that a lot today, that if women were actually their authentic selves and can move through the world in every way that they wanted to, like, society would be upside down and probably so much better and whatnot, because we're socialized that our bodies and our time and all of our magic is to the service of others. It's to our partners. It's to our community. It's to the animals in our lives. It's to the children. It's to our jobs. It's to others, being caregivers always. And they purposely make it so that there's very little left for us. If we actually put ourselves and did cross the table, just swept everything off and made us the biggest part of our time, and then gave just enough to these other areas, it'd be a monumental change.
Oh my goddess, Tioka, Shai.
I'm interested in what Sarah said. So what would you do if you didn't have to be in service to all of that? Because you know what I mean? So if you had time to just get all, like you said, swipe the table off and just be in service to yourself, what would you do?
Isn't that a question that women really ponder, but men don't? Right? I spend so much of my time thinking about me as a solo parent, making sure I have my job, that I'm doing good at my job, to be able to take care of my kids. That's one of the things that I'm personally going through in my life is what do I like? What brings me joy? What is the authentic Sarah like, where I don't have to wear all of these hats all the time? And some of these are I don't really know. And I'm excited to discover what that is. So my answer is I don't know, Tioka. And here's a huge vulnerable self, but I'm not afraid of it. I get to discover my spirit guides or whatever are going to bring me opportunities for me to figure out what do I like. But it could be having your dream job. It can be, if, just how you want to spend your time or how you want to be your authentic self. Right. But just imagine if you actually got to do that and you were happier. And you had, you were just radiating from joy so much more often than you are now. That would be so cool.
I was just curious because the whole service thing is just a thing that I enjoy doing. So it's kind of what would I do if I wasn't in service to my community, to my children, to my family, to my husband, in service to myself? It's for me, and this is just me, right? We all want love. We in search for love. But really, what is that? I mean, why not just be love? meaning
You
that
have to do that love.
we emanate love. Like, so
Mhm.
everything that we do, the foundation of it is actually love. So there's no, we get tired, right? But it's still out of love. So when I'm dealing with I have an 11-year-old. I don't know why I have an 11-year-old. I'm about to be 50. I got a 30-year-old too. So I don't understand why I love him though, right? But the service, and I homeschooled all my children, right? So the service part is like, it got to be love.
Sure.
Not saying I don't get tired, right? What would I do for myself if I didn't have all these entities, like business, the
I want to speak on that.
children,
So that's a good topic,
like,
because
this is
you can be of service to your community, your family, but you also have to make time for you. As a woman, you have to do things for you. You have to have a recharge, something, even if it's taking a bath, if it's going to get a pedicure, if it's taking a nap. You have to do something that's just for you, even as a mom. You have to have a space just where you're recharging yourself, because if you're not good, nobody is good.
that's
Women
true
run the
story. I
show.
just trying to figure out what she gonna do when she swipe it all off. But I want to know what a day
Well,
would look like, where it's like everything has disappeared, and you're like trying to find yourself.
Right.
I don't, because I don't have that experience. It's like, I do what Sister Goddess, I do what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Those are the times that I take for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a balance in that. I can't see not servicing.
No, nobody's saying not
Like that's a
servicing.
part of me. Like, that's a
Mm-hmm.
part of what I do,
Of
So I was
course.
just wondering what happens when all that disappears.
so if you're really aligned with your purpose might be of service, right? Other people might have like a healing purpose, like they're supposed to be a healer. There's all kinds of different purposes. So if you found that and you just feel like all of that does bring you joy, and it's coming because of a place that you want to, versus feeling pressure like that's what society says, then that's the unhealthy stuff. That's the stuff that you could be thinking about. One of the things that's happening in my life is I'm really trying to analyze the things that I've thought have always been true about myself. Can I deconstruct them? And then is it still true? Right. So I consider myself a very generous person, and I like that I consider myself a generous person. But when I pull back the layers and keep asking myself why, it's because it's actually overcompensating for a wound that I have where I don't feel like I'm worthy. Right. That I don't think that unless I do something nice, then maybe they're not going to like me, or, think positively or whatever. So it's actually coming from a place of fear. Now I can look at all that and be like, whoa, this is like mind shattering self-realization. But if I still want to be generous, I can do it with a boundary. I can be like, how do I come from this from love? Right. And so I can know what my gifts are, like, whether it's listening or, showing up or whatever. But I can do it with discernment. Not everybody needs, all the generosity, me saying yes all the time. So I can be a yes, and yes, I'm generous, and I'm putting up a boundary and discerning of who gets my attention and my generosity. And that's okay. And that's something, because it comes from a place of love, and something that like I'm actively working on. But that feels a lot better than like, oh, please like me, and like, let me, bend over backwards and do something super nice for you. Right. Like that doesn't feel super good. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thanks
So
for
I
Thank you.
sharing,
want to know,
Sarah.
I want to personally know, how do you determine who gets what and who do you say no to? Because I get people come to me and say, Sparkle, you did that for that person when I asked you, you didn't do this, or how come that person get that? And then I feel bad. So like that overcompensating you're talking about, Sarah, I do that a lot. I know I overcompensate to my children because their father is absent, and I buy them extra stuff. I give them extra things. I sign them up for things that they don't even want to be signed up for. Overcompensating because I feel that void. I don't want them to be traumatized. And another thing, I don't like the fact that their fathers, because my son's got a father and my daughter got her own father, that they get to do whatever they want to do. And if I just try to go out someplace, I'm feeling that mom guilt. I don't like that. I don't like the fathers are nowhere to be found. They could probably have women coming in and down, in and out. But as soon as the mother do it, she's being judged. She's being ostracized. She's being talked about. I don't like that crap, yo. Shy. Come on.
You gonna put me in there?
Yes, like, I just need
okay. So let me have your back.
The fathers don't get nobody talks bad about them. The mothers, you all this and all that. But what about the father? What he doing? You know what I mean?
And that's where that saying comes from, mommy's babies, daddy's maybes. Daddy don't have to take on that particular role. Even within a 2-parent household, you still got that mother overrides majority of the task inside the home. And I can't wait till we figure that, we here. He had to make a blueprint before he made the masterpiece, Adam and Eve. But and we are that masterpiece. But I really do. I can understand where you're coming from, because there is a frustration to where when you are a single parent, especially being a single mom, and that's when I mentioned by 7:00 a.m. you done had a whole workday schedule, and you still got to keep going, and you still got to keep checking, and that's before you even took 30 minutes to think, what have I done for me? What have I put in plan and action for me today? And by the time you think of what have I done for me, the only thing left you have to do is take a fucking bath. Because what other options you gonna do? Because you gotta get up in the morning and do the same shit all over again, right? So you only afforded certain luxuries when your boundaries or even your life placement is overran. I got 6 kids. Can y'all imagine? I don't have no boundaries in my house. Boundaries is shots, okay? And I have from 22 all the way to the 1-year-old. And can you imagine? I haven't had no boundaries in my household in 22 years. There's always somebody needing something. Regardless if you space out the time, let's just be realistic in life. Your set schedule is never followed through. Something in life is always going to pop up. So come and switch that schedule off the fucking table. Ain't no more schedule now. Now you got a whole replan. That within itself, have y'all ever had to replan a whole day because something never happened? And then now you can't feel that guilt. That's life. That's what life is entitled to us for. That's one of the beauties of life, is that it can be so spontaneous. But how you deal with them spontaneous moments, how you deal with them life bursts, how you deal with even mentally feeling mom guilt. You shouldn't feel mom guilt. Them motherfuckers are 6 feet above the ground, right? They fed, they got a roof over their head, they got clean clothes, they all right, they breathing. Okay, girl, you done won an award today. Okay, every day give yourself an award. If anything else other than that, that's a plus. That's going through a plus. You have to remember how many moms is out here not doing just that, just the bare minimum.
And she is so right, because one of the things I had to start doing with my son was realizing he gets loved, he has food, he has a house, he has everything that he needs right now without doing all the extra. So if one day I can't be there and give him everything he needs, he'll be okay. And I think that was a big thing for me, because I was so nervous for my childhood that he would lack. And I understand that feeling. So I always want to make sure I'm doing good and overcompensating. And one day I'm just like, this is exhausting and this is hard. And I'm not going to be able to fulfill this for you today, but I love you. And that's all you need to know. And that we do a lot. We keep them alive. We keep them fed. They're in their house. They're healthy. They're safe. And that is good. That's good enough sometimes. That's
especially in this day and age, girl. You know how much groceries is?
I know. I know.
I am providing you a good hot meal 3 times a day with snacks and oversaturated juices, because come on, let's be real, these damn kids, they drink you out of house and home. We're not even gonna talk about the eating, we talking about just the juice, okay? Just the juice. And with 6 kids, 1 apple juice max is like $3. Let's do the math here, sisters. Listen, if y'all asses I don't care if you got matzo, you got no frills, as long as it's 100% apple juice, I'm just going to be okay with that. And we have to start really prioritizing. Let me say this. We have to start prioritizing where in life are we setting up these kids for? Because after they shorter years, they gonna go and start their own household. And guess what? Nobody still gonna buy you no apple juices. Them kids still not gonna get you no apple juice once they move out. So I believe in once my kids do have their own home and their families, I'm going to a house and go goddamn grocery shopping.
Drink their apple juice.
We gonna bag up this, but I just want to say we have to prioritize what is important. And sometimes our priorities within life itself, sometimes that overrides what our stipulations mentally that we want to progress with self-care. Sometimes I can't do self-care. I have sworn off getting tips on my nails. Okay, sis, I have sworn off getting tips on my nails because I did the calculations. Them shit's gonna fall off. You're gonna have to keep going back. That's an investment that I feel is not really a good investment right now, right? So I feel like with that, people will look at me and be like, Shai, you don't get your nails done? No, I don't get my nails done. But why do you get your nails done? And there's certain women that prioritize getting their nails done. I don't feel like shit for not getting my nails done. I actually feel like you're crazy if you keep going to pay these people to cover your nail beds and your pores with acrylic, and people don't realize what acrylic is. Start figuring out what you're putting on your nails. So you're going to pay $120 every 2 weeks to get your nails done, to cover up your nail bed, and then when your nails and fungus start growing on, it's your fault. But that's not a priority of mine, right? So sisters that feel like, oh, I can't get my nails done, I can't get my tips, fuck them tips this week, right? I'm not saying be all Cat Williams and you say light candles and fuck them light bills. Don't fuck the light bill because you don't want candles. But sometimes fuck them tips. Sometimes you have to really say, I can't outshine what life is for me right now. I say all of that to say this. When life give you lemons, make the bomb ass lemonade you possibly can. You don't sit there and look at it and be like, damn, I got these lemons. What the hell I'm gonna do? Get you some good vanilla, some ice, some sugar. You can put a little maple in it if you want to. Spice it up, put a little rum in it. If it's really a bad day, a little shot of vodka, however it go. However you might want to add some rosemary or mint to your lemonade. But it's your lemonade to make. Make the best of it.
I have 2 more questions, ladies, before we leave out of here tonight. How do you communicate your boundaries to others effectively? I want to start with that with Tioka. How do you communicate your boundaries to others effectively?
You can start with me. Spark, I'm kind of vibing with you with the idea of, my take on boundaries is like, I don't have to have them. Because if you look at the definition of a boundary is a wall. Like I'm going into some protection bubble, something. I don't need to go there. So I can't say that I have it the way that you all have a boundary. I do have a standard though. A moral standard sounds a lot more freeing than saying that I'm going to put this wall up and you better not cross this wall or I'm going to give you whatever, right? The communication of the boundary for me is just in my persona, I don't get people that cross the line,
I wanted to say that. Can I tap that in? Because when you align yourself, the universe have a way to align people that's in your path to where they don't cross your boundaries. The people that's good for you don't cross your boundaries. It's usually the people that we keep trying to hold on to that we know ain't good for us that crosses our boundaries. It's never the people that actually love you, that mean good for you, that want to cross your boundaries because they feel fucked up about doing that. Like, have you ever did something that was so small to a person that you love and your insides hurt for them? Like, damn, I can't do that shit no more. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, listen, I understand. I hurt you. I'm sorry. You feel more guilt fucking them over than anything. But the people that's not supposed to be in your tribe and your network and your life and your universe, however you feel to terminology it, those are the people that usually want to fuck over your boundaries. The people that's not supposed to be there. The people that's
Shai, let me add on to that though, because I probably had a boundary cross probably fairly recently. It was kind of low key disrespect. But then when I found out the person didn't even know me, I was like, then how can I charge you when you haven't even taken the time to know me, right? You don't know, you're having a conversation with me. You're telling me who you are, what you're doing, what you're gonna do, and what you think, and who said this about what, and I'm listening because I'm a listener. But do I take it personal when I just realize that you don't even know me? So you didn't even know that you just stepped. You don't even know that there's necessarily not a line, but there's a standard that I have, that I would never do anything to you to make you feel uncomfortable. Yet that's on them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like I don't take it personal because I'm like, that's their personality trait. That's their issue that they're trying to impose on me. I'm not like in that was it the four agreements. I don't know if y'all ever, I'm pretty sure everybody read that, right? Where it talks about like you don't have to take these people serious. You don't have to take what they're saying personally. That's their issue. And so for me, I just like this person don't know me. Didn't you ever been like, you ain't touching that person ain't talking to me, ain't talking to me. Because you don't know me. Because that's
right.
not me. I don't feel guilt. And like what Shai said, if you love a person, care about a person, if you're a genuine person, you know what I mean? You don't want you can't do that on purpose to somebody, you know? And if you do it, then you're the problem, right? So a person who's crossing the boundary or trying to push something on you, they're the problem. So that's how I take it.
Goddess, how about you? How do you communicate your boundaries effectively?
So I believe in teaching people how to treat you. So from experiences of the past, I've let the red flag slide and it only hindered me in the end. So yes, we could say, oh, that's part of their personality, but some people really just don't change. And we have to see them for who they are from the beginning. We don't change men. A man will change on his own. So I'm talking about that type of relationship specifically. A lot of us, or some of us, are single mothers. Um, I have two children's fathers. I'm not with either one of them, and that's a whole nother topic in itself. But I used to let a lot of red flags slide, thinking this person's gonna change. They don't change unless they want to. They have to show you. A man, I've been in a situation where a man, I know that a man loved me, and I know I can look back and say when a man didn't, by actions. It's not even about words, it's about actions. A man will show you. People will show you. And we got to pay attention to the red flags. Some people say it's your intuition, your gut feeling. I say it's a red flag. It's like you see that this person maneuvers this way and it doesn't really align with your morals and your values. So sometimes you got to cut your losses from the beginning because some people will only bring you down. A part of my content sidebar, I was starting to do true crime stories on my channel. There was so much domestic violence it's always domestic violence, but from COVID time to now, and that's of every race of person. If y'all look on the National Gun Violence Memorial, there's so many murder suicides. I shouldn't even say that word on YouTube, but but there's so many of those cases with couples, with families, and you wonder what's the situation. Some people don't know how to deal with their feelings. They don't know how to walk away. So you have to be strong enough to walk away from the gate when you see the red flags to save yourself. We in a different time, especially the younger generation. I was born in '83. A lot of these kids, they don't know how to take rejection. They was born in the '90s, 2000s. Y'all got to be careful with these kids. They don't know how to take rejection.
Mm.
So you got to be careful with even spoiling your kids. I have a 22-year-old son, and my youngest child's 5. I was a young mother and an older mother. I was a 19-year-old mother. My oldest son and my dad have the same birthday. And I don't, a lot of people don't know my story. I tell my story all the time. I'm not ashamed of my story. My dad was in prison for most of my life. I decided to connect with him because my oldest son was born on his birthday. And I said, that got to be God talking to me to connect with my father. So I didn't grow up with that male figure. And I think the women who didn't grow up with a father figure overcompensate their love. They want to be the mother to these men when you supposed to make these men be the provider to you. Period. I don't care how you look. I don't care what flaws you got. Your confidence will make a man fall in love with you. And you can get him to do things for you that you need to be done, not you're overcompensating for him.
Mm.
And we got to stop doing that. Make sure if you at service to him, he's at service to you in some type of capacity. That's just my take on it because that will help these relationships thrive. A lot of relationships are not thriving right now because we don't know our roles. We got women wear so many hats. We got a full-time job, a part-time job. We taking care of our kids. It's a lot.
Can I step in on that? I don't want
Mm,
to. I don't just want to shy into saying that us sisters is not doing what we got. You got a lot of brothers out here pretending. These motherfuckers deserve
mhm.
Oscars. They
No, they
pretend
do.
so good to where by the time you done kicked out 2, 3 kids, you don't even know because his Oscar game, he better than Denzel Washington.
No,
Okay?
you're absolutely right.
You got
I
some
didn't say
brothers
these
out
men are
here
not wrong. I'm not
that
saying they
show you the red
please.
flag and then tell you that the red flag is the entrance to the amusement park. Come follow me. Okay?
No, it's
And we
true.
get it. And it can have caution on the other side, but
Hmm.
maybe you will never see it the way he flagging it and folding it and putting it in his pocket, maybe using it as a bandana. So
Hmm.
we have to, I want to say it has to be some type of collision when it comes to not just our sisters but to our brothers too for accountability. Okay,
Hmm.
because sisters, okay, you might see a red flag. Okay, that might be a small red flag. It might be a little tiny red flag that you might not think is good. But then behind closed doors, you got a whole nother monster, right? Then you got some people that on the out surface they look beautiful. It looks all shiny, right? My mother always say sugar and salt looks, it resembles the same. But behind closed doors, these motherfuckers is monsters. Okay.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
one of the
sure.
major problems is women don't have a platform to talk the truth. This platform
Hmm.
is beautiful, okay?
Hmm.
Women don't have a platform to talk the truth and then be as a collective, right? Because
Hmm.
when you have a collective, numbers, y'all in politics and stuff, y'all know numbers win. So you understand that the fact of having a collective of sisters standing together, not just being male bashing, but also taking accountability, also acknowledging emotionals and mental state of mind frames. This is one of the things that's needed because you got some sisters out here in fucked up relationships. But how can they express that? And then when they do express it, they don't have a platform of togetherness or a sister tribe that, to help them move along and navigate. Because you do have sister tribes that they're, gang together and be like, fuck them niggas. But a sister tribe that actually walk you through on some positive and changing and reinforcements and things like that. Because if a sister come out and be like, damn, I'm going through this, that, and the third, and my boundaries is not being respected, who actually listens to her? The first thing we gonna say is why you stay.
So I want to speak to why I stay, and then Sarah, I see your hand, and I also have a question for you. Since you seem to have these boundaries down pat, but the reason why I stay personally is because we live in America, and I know the history of the Black man in America. I know the history of the Black woman in America. So the reason why I stay is because I don't want to abandon ship. I don't want to, it's easy to go on the other side and have a dynamic because I feel like I'm a dynamic person. It's easy to have a dynamic with the other Caucasian or any other heritage, but I want to work it out in my own backyard. I want to clean up my own backyard. I want to use my strength to stick with my brother, not abandon my brother, and therefore I don't want my brother to abandon me. So the brothers who I see who don't have mothers or who haven't had mothers, they do need a little bit of that, not that guidance, but they need a little bit of that unconditional love. Here, I got a size 44 triple D. Come sit on his bosom. Come hear my heartbeat. come get my spirit, because this is what you didn't have. So I feel empathy for us in America. So that's why I kind of like, I'm not going to say sacrifice myself, but that's why I endure a little bit more. That's why I have a little bit more patience. And as a counterpart, I raise my sons to be men that women don't have to heal from. Okay. And then Sarah, I wanted to ask you, what are some small steps someone can take to start setting boundaries? On top of, I know you wanted to add to the conversation. So that's the question that I have for you nonetheless.
Okay, thanks. To answer the last one, I think one of the things we could do is follow through. When we say something or we've communicated something with our body language of like, no, this is not happening. Whether that's how someone speaks to you, whether that's how they like treat you or how they talk about you, for example, following through. If you say like, if you cross this boundary, if that's, what you want, or, you don't want them to do, then you need to leave. That means you take your energy, you take your time, you take your love, like you take it all away. And don't feel guilty about doing that. It is okay. You don't have to still keep the door open on a situationship or anything like that. Like you can say, nope, I'm not doing this. This is just a leak for your energy. And that is not okay. And is not serving you. So just following through. And you know what? We're not perfect. So sometimes I'm going to just acknowledge, I'm going to set this boundary. And then even just sometimes the winning of it is, and hopefully everything's safe, but just like if you cross it or someone steps a little too close, that, your little inner voice says like, we're getting really close, right here, but you're going to get better over time, the more that you do that. So tell me the last question again, Sparkle.
I think that was it. Like, what is the first step anyone can take? Like myself, if I want to say tomorrow, I want to set a boundary. What do I do? Do I write it down? Am I gonna write down the boundary? Like,
I got a suggestion from the hood people,
Yes.
a representation of the hood. So, my first step would be Walmart sell machetes for under $5 for boundary breaking. And the local Home Depot now today has on sale a 2x4 for $350 and under. That would be a great boundary setter.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Little things that I can tell you that I start doing, just like I make sure every morning from 7 to 7:30 I can have coffee uninterrupted. I don't want my husband to talk to me. I don't want my son to talk to me. Just starting out with little things and reminding them, because sometimes they will bother me or something will happen. I'll be like, this is my time. Like I need this time every day from 7 to 7:30. And if that's one thing I can give myself throughout the whole day, I'm happy with that. But just putting little things, like I have a calendar now, something I've never done before in my entire life, where I put in time frames or where I can actually meet with people and talk to people and do things, and keeping certain areas of that calendar free. They're just like little things you can start with that end up giving you, I don't know about confidence, but the ability to just say no sometimes. And that's how, like little things that I start collecting, I guess you could say, like in coffee. If I can have that every day, I'm happy. But just little boundaries, little things that you can ask them to start doing that might feel like wins.
Okay. Sparkle, I think it's also really great to have an accountability buddy, right? So find somebody that is also going through this, or you really admired how they've like set boundaries, or you notice something, and then just be like, hey, can I just talk with you? And, kind of set up a friendship just around how can we support each other doing this, right? Because if you make a commitment, part of your people pleaser, which you've said that you are, you don't want to disappoint people, right? And so, but finding somebody that you can talk about, like, I'm setting this boundary around my time. I'm not going to be on social media after this much time. Or like, let's say if you're dating, like I'm only going to spend 15 minutes on the phone. And if he hasn't asked me on a date, then like, I'm going to wrap it up because he can get to know me on a date, right? Like whatever that boundary looks like. But when you say like, this is my intention, and you chat with a friend, they can hold you accountable. Like, did you do that? Right. But also create a safe space where, I blew it and I knew that I blew it, but it was way better than like not having a boundary at all. And so now I had to be like, what does that conversation with yourself look like? Like, I still love myself, even though I blew through this boundary or I let somebody cross it. Like, okay, we got to go back and like restart, just like in Mario Kart, you fall off the edge, like, you get put back on there. You got to keep going and stuff. So starting with like maybe an accountability buddy of some kind could be a good start.
I want to say this. I noticed that y'all keep talking about the little voice inside your head, your conscience telling you. Y'all do realize we in a day and age where people don't have conscience no more. they don't have that little voice in their head to say and reason, because they denied it so many times that the little voice done ran the fuck away. So that's why I said the Home Depot 350 right now. I just googled
Oh
it
my
for it.
goodness.
It's 350 for the 2x4 for them people that don't have a conscience, because you can knock the hell out of them while still praying for them. We can still be spiritual. We can beat the hell out of them while praying to heaven back in if need be.
Mm.
The final question that I have for each and every one of us is what is your go-to self-care activity when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed? And then after you answer that, please leave something that you would like the listening audience to know. And I think I'm going to start with Tioka. What's your go-to self-care activity when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed? And also some words of wisdom for our listening audience as we close out.
Great. So the first thing I thought about was sleep. When I I'm a stickler. Like, my bed has to be made, right? So when I make my bed, I look at my bed and I say, I'll see you later. I'll be back. Okay. When it gets to that point, like, one of the things that I use, I guess if we put the word boundary out there, is that I keep a calendar. So I don't double book myself or overbook myself, or don't do something that I just don't have the energy, time, desire to do. I don't have a problem with saying no. I'm not available. But when it gets to the point where it's just overwhelming, meaning overwhelming for me is like, I'm tired, I ain't got no more, and I'm about to power down, I go to bed. I mean, real talk. I can't. There's no magic wand. It's like, I'm done. Like, my husband will look at me and he know my look. He's like, "You done?" I'm done. And it could be like 8. It could be like 8 o'clock. It could be like not 7, but 8, 9 o'clock, and I just check out. I don't necessarily go to sleep. Maybe I'm putting on something to watch to, like, just wind down. But that's it. What I would leave people with is that, when we think about boundaries, let's just make sure that we're not using these boundaries in fear, because we are free. We're free. We don't need a wall up. We don't need a wall up. We need to build a bridge. Meaning, when I say that, what I mean by that is that things have happened to us. It's not something wrong with us. It's things that have happened to us in the past that and we run into people and it reminds us of these things, and it makes us feel unsafe. We have to deal with that trauma. We have to figure out what it is that happened to me that makes me feel like I need this wall up, which means that I can't, I shut people down or cut people off or don't want to be bothered, or, just need my me time before I hit somebody with a 2x4 and get the machete out. One of my favorite dances, by the way, is called the machete. But anyway, what happened to us? So, I remember years ago, over 20 years ago, I worked at the House Care Shepherd. I had took a course dealing with childcare, and one of the things that they talked about is responding versus reacting, and how we don't have to react to everything. We can take a minute to respond. I think that's a real boundary. That's a real standard. A wise man once said, you need to think 5 times before you speak, right? We live in a day with social media, so, like, we got to think 20 times before we post and about 100 times before we react, before we, act on something. We don't have to be reactive. We can take that time to sit in what is happening, think about it, and see how it feels. Do I need to respond to it? Do I need to even give it any energy? For me, that's how I deal with setting boundaries, or keeping my standard, my moral standard. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, because part of it is that we're reacting to something that had already happened in the past, and somebody re-stimulated that and made us feel like they about to do that to us again. You about to make me feel unsafe. Like, when we talk about red flags, You can't have a red flag unless we all know the red flag, what a red flag stands for. That means that this looks familiar. I experienced this somewhere before. You ain't about to do what that person did to me, so I'm about to put this wall up. Well, let's talk about what that person did to you and how we heal from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather?
Absolutely, like everything that she said. First of all, I sleep. Like I will check out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If I have to take a nap in my car for 20 minutes or something, sleep is my cure for everything. It shuts everything out. I have nothing left in me to give at that point, which means I need to be alone and I need to sleep. And that's a big one. I don't know if I've really ever set a lot of boundaries. I'm not a boundaries queen. However, I know as I've worked through my life and my past traumas and things like that, things have gotten easier for me. And I don't know if it's because I set a boundary or something. I don't think I did that. I think that I've just looked in within myself and learned more about me, and things have gotten easier. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of you, but that for me is what's changed for me. It's working on things about myself. When I'm doing stuff and I feel I need to do stuff for my child, am I doing it to compensate for me, or does he really need that? You know, and those are all things that I had to work on that have made me a better mom and a better wife, and better for myself because I've worked on those things. So if that's something I can give out to the world, is sometimes you're creating boundaries and fixing things just by fixing yourself. You're not putting anything out there, denying people. You're growing, and that stuff happens. So I feel that that's the biggest thing that a lot of us need to work on is what's within ourselves first. And then, I don't know, it's changed my life, you know, immensely. And I don't think, like I said, I ever really set anything. I just grew with it and grew with myself. So that's what I'm putting out there, everybody.
Thank you. And Shai, what's your go-to self-care activity when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed? And what is your wow? What is your words of wisdom that you want to leave everyone
Girl,
with?
you gonna ask me that? Okay, so I'm gonna be real. My go-to activity is to light one up, a big one, a fat one. I take my time and be like, everybody out my room, out my space, get out my house. I need to smoke me a fat one and just meditate and think about how I'm gonna think my situation through. Okay, I am a highly believer that sometimes cannabis can stop you from going to Home Depot to get and spend your okay? Sometimes that work. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. But to me, if I to be more real and positive on an outlook of positivity, I would say, okay, like Heather, I agree with Heather. You have to reach into yourself and figure out what the fuck it is that makes you tick, what the fuck it is that you want to progress during the day that's gonna make you smile, right? And do more of the shit that make you smile rather than make you tick. I'm with Tioka. Take your beauty nap. Because sometimes, listen, you can overwork and then you get your gray hair in certain places that you don't want gray hair. So sometimes you do gotta relax. Sometimes you gotta get your beauty rest. Sometimes that is necessary. How many times have you been hangry or just overtired, and then the whole rest of the fucking day done shifted because you can't think yourself through? Because since you didn't know how to say, you know what, I need to go take a nap. I need to go take a nap. Listen, if the house burned down, I smell it. I'll wake up from my nap. But right now, I'm going to catch me some Z's. I do believe in that too, right? So I would, if I was to say that, I would say, set your boundaries for the shit that make you happy. Set your boundaries for the stuff that work on and stand on business. Because I think that a lot of us said that tonight is about how you stand on business after you set these boundaries. Are you really standing on business? Because you can deposit into a business account that won't, give you no funds back. You can deposit, and I don't mean funds as in money transaction. I mean mentally, spiritually, emotionally. How many accounts do you deposit into a day? I tell my people all the time, listen, your deposit is too big. I can't cash that right now. My mental bank account can't take that right now. My emotional bank account can't take that right now. You're too expensive for my blood right now. So I can't afford that mental deposit that you want to deposit in my mental bank. It's just not going to work. And ladies, if y'all try that sounds a lot more realer and nicer. People tend to laugh and they be like, you know what? I respect that. I respect that. And they starting to use it now too. My bank account can't afford that right now. Some people are too expensive. Are you willing to pay the price for somebody to be too expensive in your life to break your boundaries? I suggest hell no. And if you can't tell them, call me, call Shai, because I tell them for you. She says she don't want to do that shit. What's wrong with you? Don't call her back today. Call her tomorrow. Maybe she might want to do it tomorrow. Not today though.
Sarah?
Oh my gosh. Okay. When I get like really overwhelmed, it doesn't matter like where it originates from. Like I tend to like rage clean if I'm like really overwhelmed. I clean. I'm as much as I'm a spiritual girly, I'm also like an astro girly. And my moon, which is your emotional self, is in Taurus. And it's also in the third house. So I express my emotions like I need to ground. I love what helps me is just going and laying in the backyard when weather permitted, or holding something like I have some lavender that I hold. I have it at my desk, and then on another end I have like black tourmaline in order to have everything kind of circle through. So I ground myself, and I also need to vent it out. I need to write out my emotions, or I need to like call somebody up and work through something before I would like take action to address something that made me pretty emotional. So I would recommend that people find their moon sign and then do your moon. So if you have a water sign, do something around water. If you have a fire sign, get that energy out somehow. That's where you get the 2x4. If you have like an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius moon. If you have like an air moon, it's more talking or air things that you would do. So that's
Thank you,
advice.
Sarah. And Goddess Masterpiece.
Yeah, so I like I said, have been in some places being a single mom, feeling sad about my relationship not being the relationship being over with my children's father. That took a toll on me at a time in my life, and a lot of things spiraled from there. But the lesson in it, I feel like, is what self love is, what it means to love yourself. I've heard people say it all my life. Do you love yourself, or you don't love yourself, or people questioning whether I love myself, and I never understood what that meant until you like at a low point in your life. You're not gonna understand what that means, and a lot of people won't really resonate with your pain. You're not going to find everyone around you, even the people closest to you, family members. They may not understand your pain if they haven't been through it. So I've had to go through that and pick myself up from the floor. Like I said, affirmations help me when I'm feeling in a low space. The name I name my channel is an affirmation in itself. So many people have questioned me being a goddess. You not no goddess. You ain't this. And it's like, I am a goddess because that's what I said. I don't need your validation. That's the point I'm at in my life. I don't need nobody's validation. Not my parents, not no friends, real or fake. I validate me. You got to be solid in this world or you will get chewed up and spit out. Being from New York showed me that in itself. You have to be a solid person in your own spirit. And so I stay solid. I do smoke. My birthday's 420. So I was born a smoker. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I do. But besides me being a content creator and all these things, I fill my mental up with things so that I have a hobby. I always felt like being just in a relationship is great, but sometimes we lose ourselves. I never want to lose myself in a relationship. You lose your sense of swag, how you dress, how you having kids. You can't pull yourself together the way you would normally pull yourself together. And sometimes we lose the relationship that way. You always got to take time to do things to look good. And whatever that means to you, whether it's acrylic nails or your natural nails, what makes you feel good? I wear acrylic nails sometimes. Sometimes I wear my natural nails. Sometimes I wear wigs. I just cut my real hair into a bob. Sometimes I wear afro. It depends on how I'm feeling. I want to look how I want to look because life is short. I want to do content because it's a time capsule. We in a different time. Telling your story before somebody else tells your story is what we need to be doing.
Oh, I
Tell
love
your own
that.
story.
I love that. Tell your story. I love that.
Tell your story before somebody's telling the story all wrong. They telling it wrong. So it's more to come. I'm like a jack of all trades and a master of none. But right now I do work a 9 to 5 because I gotta survive in New York City. So that's my first and foremost. But other than that, I started on YouTube in maybe 2018, and I started in the pro black community. And even that has showed me that we really can't just be for our people per se, because all our people ain't meant to come to the party. I had to learn that the hard way. We got to really, really bond besides the race, because our own people sometimes will fuck us over more than another race. So that's a whole other topic in itself.
Yeah.
I was in that whole sector, the pro black sector. It is the same thing as if you're in the beef sector. So make sure y'all follow me on goddessmasterpiece.com. I'm also on YouTube. I'm on all social media platforms. Goddess Masterpiece with the peace sign, not the peace, but the I'm mastering my peace. That's what I'm doing. Like they say, men need peace, women need peace too. Where's our peace? You gotta be my peace if you want me to be your peace. That's just my stance. And
Can we make that a segment on the
mm,
show? Because I think that we
Absolutely.
all can tap into, to surviving a relationship. That's not
mhm,
being in a relationship. That's
mhm,
surviving in a relationship. And
mhm,
I think we all as women had a turn or two in the
mhm,
survival relationship theme park that looked
mhm,
like a theme park. And it really wasn't.
mhm,
It wasn't a theme park.
mhm, mhm,
But even just if we can tap into really expressing, how do you find yourself outside of that? We don't
mhm,
know how to find ourselves in a relationship, and it's
mhm,
damn even harder to find yourself after that relationship spark has gone, because you done lost
mhm,
yourself a long time ago. So how do you travel back, re-step back, recalibrate, backtrack, however you want to put it, but how do you
mhm,
backtrack to go back to that person and pick her ass up and be like, come on, when was that moment for you? Because a lot of women don't know how to express that.
mhm,
When was that moment? To
So
me, my moment.
we
You got.
definitely going to in the spirit of self-sabotaging and boundaries, we're going to think about that and create that platform so we can speak more into that. So right now it's 8:22, and I just wanted to offer my self-care is to take a shower. I go into the bathroom, and for some reason people don't bother you in the bathroom. Where's mommy? Where's Sparkle? She in the bathroom. Okay, that's right. So I go in there and I take a 20-minute, 30-minute shower. I let that hot water hit me. I let, all my thoughts go. I wash all my troubles away. And when I come out the shower, for some reason, I feel like a superhero and I start over. It's like a reset button. My word of wisdom is to listen to yourself, listen to yourself, trust yourself, and pretty much be kind to yourself. In this time, be kind to yourself. Don't beat up on yourself. Try not to. Don't listen to other people, and don't even listen to yourself if you're saying unkind things to yourself. And I feel like a part of my self-care as a whole is to create a platform for people can use their voice. This SisStar Cipher is definitely evidence of that. Being able to hear others people's thoughts and to pretty much cipher with everyone else, build with everyone else, and learn from everyone else. So that's a self-care technique that I use, is to give other people a place to speak their piece. And thank you, ladies. Happy Women's History Month. Thank you for joining us on this episode of SisStar Cipher. And we'll be back
mhm.
again.
All
This
right.
is Reality Speaks TV. And our slogan is real people, real talk, and real time. Thank you for listening, and good night, everyone.
All right. Good night.
Melon the queen, I love her complexion. I give her my love and affection. I look in the eyes, she feel the connection. Wishes with me, she got my protection. I take the lead, she follow my direction. She's mine, she's a prize possession. I'm only in competition with that man in reflection. She liking my songs, I'm on her plays as extra. She said Jake her favorite, she liking my smell, she in love with the fragrance. She's a beast, but she like how I tame, she acts how I move.